First of all, thanks for all the feedback. I love to hear how exciting Fast Cob is for others as well. I heard very loudly that you know you want to bring Fast Cob into your life, but what I also heard is that either you don't have the time or you don't have a place to build yet. Let me tell you about my experience. For as long as I can remember, even when I had some time, I didn't have enough time for building, or so it seemed. At first, building with cob was really slow. Even when I had water and tarps and materials ready to go, life kept getting in the way. When you're a single parent and homesteading, there are lots of good reasons to put building off for another day. As I developed Fast Cob, I slowly started to realize that I didn't need all day to build. A few hours here, a few hours there, but I'm the type of person that gets in a groove and doesn't like to stop. So I knew better than to start just before I needed to attend another commitment. But over the years, I started to build whenever I did have a few hours, sometimes as little as one or two, and it started to show. Of course, I planned for those short spurts of building action. I had the materials ready, I went over the design, and I watched the weather. So when I did build, I was able to get stuff done, which gave me the confidence to build more, even with small chunks of time. Now, I get that I've dedicated my life to building with Fast Cob, and that I live in an area where the neighbors won't complain. Not that there's much to complain about, since there's no noise or smell. And I know that not everyone is able to be as dedicated to building as I can be. But I also know that once you've set up the system that works for you, just like any other type of system, it's surprisingly easy to keep it going and make progress. Think about how you make food, commute or travel, stay in touch with friends and family, even how you do the work that you're responsible for. By setting up a system, deliberately or not, it makes whatever you're doing simpler and easier because you don't have to start from scratch each time. Fast Cob is no different. In fact, it's easier to set up than most systems that I know of, since there's no machines, just weatherproof tarps, a garden hose or two, and the building materials themselves. The bulk of the materials can be left in the rain and snow, only the straw needs to be kept dry. So setting up your mixing area can be quick and easy, and once it is, you can be off to the building races in a matter of minutes. However, if setting yourself up is not one of your strengths, then you're going to want to stay tuned for my next video when I show you another way to make it all happen. Of course, we still haven't talked about creating the design and preparing the building site. First, the design. It needs to be both realistic and safe. The drawings don't need to be elaborate or even very detailed, unlike with conventional buildings, because with cob you can easily fix any mistakes as you go. You can even redesign as you go. I find that the smaller the project, the less detail is necessary. As your buildings grow in size and scope, the details become increasingly important, so start small. A realistic design fits the space that you have available, fits your budget, and meets your needs for the use of that building. With that in mind, anyone can design their own building, even if stick people drawings are an overwhelming challenge for you. And yes, I can help if needed. Preparing the building site can be more daunting. I use hand tools to excavate because I don't want to harm the life just outside the building's footprint. It can take longer and is more physically demanding than using an excavator or other machine, but it's much cheaper and safer for everyone. And by planning ahead, I can take advantage of the material I'm removing by starting or expanding a garden downhill from the building so gray water from that building can irrigate it. Some people call this permaculture. I just call it common sense. Once the building site is ready, we need to determine if drainage under the building will be required. If you're on or near the top of a hill, even a small one, you may be able to skip this step. If not, you'll simply want to make sure any rainwater or melting snow can flow around or under the building. Drain pipe and drain rock will be your friends here. And then, of course, there's the foundation. I prefer to use rocks if they have the strength and long-term ability to hold up in the sun. Broken concrete, also known as urbanite, can be delivered to your site for free, or you can pour a concrete foundation. But for me, natural rocks are effective, economical, and more compatible with the rest of the natural building we're about to create. All of which brings up that other common barrier to building that I'm hearing from you: finding a place to build. With land prices soaring and population pressures increasing, finding a place is not as easy as it used to be. But even if you don't have land or the money to buy land, there are many creative solutions out there. Co-housing and land co-ops are more common than you might think. Leasing land is still possible, and if you have friends or even acquaintances with land, building for them in exchange for the use of the building can be a great way to start your journey, at least outside of the city. If you don't want to leave the city or the suburbs, then unless you're living up in the sky in a condo or apartment, you'll have a backyard to build in. Ovens and benches are great ways to bring Cob into your life. Building codes might be a barrier in your location, but under a certain size, usually 100 square feet, the codes that restrict the use of Cob don't apply. A tiny Cob home in the backyard or laneway might just convince the local authorities to finally get around to including a building technique that has been used for a heck of a lot longer than their codes have existed. I know this video is already getting a bit long, so if you want to brainstorm more ideas about finding a location, just leave a comment below. And then there's the actual cost of building. Well, it's not quite as high as buying land. When you're talking about a conventional building, it's out of reach for most folks. Mortgages obviously are the way many people buy their own home, but then you're literally a slave to that mortgage for most of the rest of your life. Well, Fast Cob to the rescue again. It's literally dirt cheap when you build yourself, but it's surprisingly affordable if you hire the experts as well. I charge half the price per square foot that conventional builders charge. That's right. A Homer building that lasts up to 50 times longer, is fireproof, rodent-proof, insect-proof, requires little to no maintenance, and reduces heating and cooling costs dramatically. And it's half the cost of any conventional home or building. It can be custom built to your needs for no extra cost as well. Not bad. But now I want to hear from you. Scroll down, hit the like button, and then let me know what else might be holding you back from building. Anything that comes to mind. Why can't you build in your backyard? What is it about your schedule that seems to be keeping you from building? I'm dedicating my 2018 to helping as many people bring Fast Cob into their lives as I possibly can. You can help by helping me understand what barriers exist for you. And in the next video, I will show you how to overcome those barriers. If you're willing to share your experience, I'm committing to share my expertise, and who knows, maybe that will get you over that hump that's been stumping you. Let's do this together and make 2018 the year of Fast Cob.